You're listening to the PRO Media Network. The next level in entertainment.
You're listening to the Pelicans postgame report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
You're now listening to the Sports Combs Pelican postgame report on the PRO Media Network. I'm Big Q, bringing us in to another excellent and entertaining episode from the Pelican postgame report on this February the 9th. Friday, February the 9th, 2018, podcast 147. That's right, 147 on the podcast. And in this episode, we'll be covering, of course, the game that never happened with the Pelicans' roof. Rain coming through the roof. But we like to welcome you guys in by giving you a round of applause for joining us on today's show. As we talk a little basketball here, Pelican brand, our pro Pelican brand of basketball anyway, as we talk about it on this magnificent Friday show. The Pelicans had an opportunity to take on the Indiana Pacers this past Wednesday night. It didn't happen because the Pelicans' roof, the rain came in. Not the roof was on fire, but the rain was able to penetrate the roof of the New Orleans Arena, a.k.a. the Smoothie King Center, a.k.a. the blender. Well, some water got in the blender and got on top of the floor and made it very unsafe for the players to come out and try to run up and down on the floor, despite the chagrin of the NBA, who attempted to try to ask the players where they were comfortable of coming out. But, of course, any coach going to say, listen, man, we're not going to put our players out here, and if they fall down and hurt themselves, it's going to look bad for the NBA. So the NBA did the smartest thing they could possibly do. They postponed the game. They didn't give a time yet to all those fans out there who have tickets. But they did issue a statement saying that they were going to provide a refund for those who wanted it, and also honor the postponed game at a later date. When we get that information, we'll pass it right along to you. So let's get a rundown of what's going on in today's show, podcast 147. The Pelicans, we're going to preview the Pelican matchup against the Phildelphia 76ers set to go off tonight in the blender. Hopefully no rain will rain on the parade of the team in this matchup. Hopefully they got that situation resolved. I know they got that situation resolved. A head's going to roll if they hadn't. But we'll preview that game in the second segment. We'll also talk about the lineup changes that the Pelicans were trying to institute in this game, in the past game against the Pacers, the rain game, as it's called, as I called it anyway. But they were supposed to have a lineup change in which they were going to move Drew Holiday to the starting point guard, with E'Twaun Moore flanking him, and then the small forward position would be DeAndre Liggins with, of course, nikola-mirotic and Anthony Davis at the 5, and moving Rajon Rondo to the bench to lead the second troop of guys to come in to give them leadership off of the bench. Not a bad philosophy at all. We'll get into that. The Pelicans traded Dante Cunningham at the deadline. Now, you know how I feel about Dante Cunningham, so I won't tell you right now, but you know if you listen to the show. They traded him for a guard, 6'6", former first-round draft pick guard Rashad Vaughn, who played at UNLV, was a guy, I think he was taken 17th overall a couple of years ago in the 2015 draft. And he was buried in that guard rotation in Milwaukee before New Jersey traded him, before New Jersey traded Tyler Zeller, the center prospect, to Milwaukee for Rashad Vaughn, and then the Pelicans made the move to pull him here and send out an unhappy Cunningham. We'll break that story down. Mike James, the backup point guard, whom I'm very fond of. I like Mike James. I think he brings something that this team doesn't have, explosiveness at the point guard position, a guy that can penetrate and push the ball. I don't think he's gotten a fair shake in this team. I think Gentry is one of those old granddaddy-ass coaches that's not really inventive. You know, you got a guy, it took him forever to finally be able to play Sheik Diallo, only because of the fact that the team was suffering from a lack of depth, and he was forced to. Somebody had his arm behind his arm bent behind his back, forcing him to put Sheik Diallo out on the court. Even though we've been saying this for a while, we've seen enough of Sheik to know what he could bring. We know he's going to bring energy. We know he's going to be a rebounder and a garbage points player underneath the basket. That was something that you need. He finally started to play the man. He finally started to play DeAndre Liggins. He finally started to play some of these other guys, and Mike James is one of the guys that he had not getting many minutes, and he's frustrated. Well, we'll go and get into that story a little later as well. We'll also recap some of the NBA trades that happened with the Cavaliers trading half the damn team. We'll go over a few of those. And, of course, we'll play a little Al Gentry and see what his thoughts on the rain game, as I call it, were. And, of course, don't forget, we'll preview the Philadelphia matchup in the second segment. Anyway, let's get right into it from the rundown. Like I said, a lot to talk about, but Dante Cunningham's situation is something that we've all spoke about at random, spoke about Dante Cunningham. Me personally, I wasn't too happy about him coming back here. I knew it was not going to end up well because Cunningham is not the type of player that you need in this system. He shoots 30-something% from the three-point line. He missed wide open free throws. He three-pointers, that is, wide open three-pointers constantly, habitually missing wide open three-pointers. Even when he was underneath the basket to make an easy layup, he missed those too. He was told, and most of the times he was out of defense. The last game he played before they set his ass down, he was completely a defensive liability. He was out of position. It was like he was lost out there. And I was saying that this guy shouldn't be on the team. You could have went in a different direction, what have you. Anyway, he's gone. He's gone. He made a trade demand, said he wanted to trade him, so they shipped his ass to New Jersey to pretty much basketball purgatory. And they got a young guard in Rashad Vaughn, who's 6'6" out of UNLV. We don't know what they're going to do with Rashad Vaughn. The Pelicans could very well waive this guy. We don't know if he's going to remain on a roster. We just have to wait and see. But they can waive him and free up more money so they can go after a veteran. My preference would be a big. Somebody, maybe they can go after a big that might get bought up. Maybe Jakeem Noah, if we can get some of these guys, a center that can play the five, that can come in and play the five position, allowing Anthony Davis to slide back to 4. That's what I'm saying. So I'm looking at Jakeem Noah to be on that buyout market, perhaps a Dwayne Dedmon, perhaps another big that can come in and allow Anthony to shift back to the 4, because this is he is. I just don't want to see him at that 5. He gets beat up a lot. He can suffer some injury. But anyway, Dante Cunningham's out of here. He could take his 5 minutes or whatever, 5 points or 3 rebounds or whatever it was, playing 20-something odd minutes a night, and you can go get that to New Jersey. So perhaps, but it's definitely upside because with Sheik Diallo getting more time, which we advocated a couple of podcasts ago, been saying that Sheik Diallo should get Dante Cunningham's numbers. Been saying it. Now that you see that he brings energy and effort off to the bench, and it's a better fit for this team. Plus, you already know what Dante Cunningham can give you. He's not going to give you any more than what he's been giving you. His career is on a down slope, if anything, while Sheik Diallo's is on the incline. Anyway, let's look at what Al Gentry. Let's just see Coach Al Gentry start on the rain game.
I guess
see what
basically,
he thought about it.
Can you kind of explain the thought process behind that they needed to postpone this game?
I just think they made an evaluation of the situation and just didn't think it was safe enough to play the game. Excuse me. So, I think it's obviously better to be safe than sorry. So, after looking at several things and, looking at the roof and evaluated it, I think they came to the conclusion that it's just not worth risking players.
So was it more about the floor? Was it about the concern that water would come down eventually, or what
I think it was a little bit of both, but I think obviously, we're supposed to get rain for most of the night. So, I think for a while it stopped raining outside, and they got it under control there, but there was no. I guess they made the conclusion that they couldn't guarantee that it would not come back down if it started to rain again. So,
do you have any idea on the process as far as rescheduling the game? Obviously,
I have no idea. I don't have any idea how that works or what goes on. I mean, I've been in the NBA 30 years. This is the first time it's ever happened. So it's kind of a, it's really tough, and I feel really bad for the fans, that came out to see a game and it didn't happen. Those are the people that I'm concerned the most about. I mean, we'll be able to reschedule it and play it, and my hope is that everybody that was going to be here tonight will be able to come back again.
And what was it like just in the locker room? I'm sure the guys were getting antsy there.
Well, yeah, because I mean, obviously the clock is running, and it goes from 15 minutes to half an hour to 45 minutes to an hour, and then obviously there's a lot of concern. But after talking to Nate and hearing the opinion that he had, that his players gave him, and what the guys were saying, I just think it was the safest thing to do, really. It's not easy. It's a tough situation to have to do it, but it was the safest thing to do.
I guess basically, can you kind of?
That's Coach Gentry saying that it was the safest thing that he could do, and to be quite honest with you, he's right. Gentry's right on the matter that you don't want players falling down, busting their asses, or running around and getting hurt in the NBA. That would be a PR disaster. That the NBA doesn't care about its players and only cares about its money. So it did the smartest thing that a league could do. It chose to sit those. You say, listen, we're just going to postpone it until we know for certain the conditions are safe enough for these guys to run up and down on the court with. So can't be upset about that. No doubt about it. Can't be upset about that. Let's move forward and talk about some other stuff before we get ready to go to the break. The Pelicans, Mike James situation. Actually, let's talk about the Pelicans and Andre Liggins. The lineup change with Liggins out. The idea was to move some defensive players into the rotation to help out. Now, by moving Liggins into the position, moving him at the small forward, because they won't take Etuan more out. Etuan will play the 2, Drew will play the 1, Liggins will be the 3. And Liggins is 6'6". He's a guy that can guard the wing position. You would need him to take on a guy like Ben Simmons, and it's sad to say you have Embiid on Anthony Davis. I really don't want to see that. So I wish Dale gets up off his ass and find a viable center to plug in so Anthony Davis doesn't have to play or suffer the minutes at the 5 position. We remember this from previous seasons when he got beat up playing the 5 position when he wanted to play the small ball thing. It's a disaster for you. For AD doesn't like to play the 5. He won't complain. He'll play it. But that's just so unfair to have him playing out of position at the 5. Find a goddamn center, man. Please. Anyway, that's the lineup change with Liggins coming in, which can only help. Now, he can shoot the 3-pointer better than what Cunningham could, and he's a better defender. He fits better. He's hungry. And I like the move to add that defensive acumen to the team because they're falling through the floor since the DeMarcus Cousins trade. Injury. They're 1-4. And now you get a rain-out game, which is kind of symbolic of the season, sort of what. So that's what's kind of ironic to me. I read the article from G Balance over there at the Pelican Eye View. When you get an opportunity, Pelicans fans, go over to the Pelicans Eye View. Just put it in your Google. Pelicans Eye View basketball, and it'll take you right to it. Had an interesting article on how the roof was symbolic of the Pelican season. Didn't hear anybody else write like that except for him. It gave me some interesting thoughts on what could that possibly mean. Some people say it's just a leaky roof. Let me tell you something. That never happened in all the time the Pelicans been down here. I think it happened like 3 times in the entire totality of the current NBA. But when the roof leaks, is that symbolic of your season? Symbolic when DeMarcus Cousins goes down. Then you're looking at the fact that the season wisping away. 1-4, the last 5 contests since the injury. They are reeling. And plus, you've just shipped out some of your core veterans who were making a decent advantage. Jameer Nelson, the rest of them, they're gone. So basically what you have is players that haven't played that much, people that he was over relying on, which now they'll have to learn how to play all over again. You bring Mirotic in, which is a bonus because he averages about 17, 18 points a game. But they need more. You bring Omeka Okafor, I don't know what that was about. I can't complain, a big's a big, right? You just kibosh the Terrence Jones thing. Well, Terrence can get you 12 or 13 points a game. I don't know what to say about that. I don't know what these other guys can give you, but the chances are it's similar to that Roof situation. Very similar to that Roof situation. But anyway, is a dark omen for the team? Is it a dark omen? I don't know. But we'll talk about it on the other side of the break. Among other Pelican news, you listen to the Pelican post-game report on the PRO Media Network. Stay tuned.
Get all the latest news and updates from your New Orleans Pelicans at the Pelicans Eye View, the new and official Pelicans Daily Journal, covering everything Pelicans. Attention, everyone. Get breakdown on games, free agent signings and potential moves, unbiased opinions and straight up facts with statistical analysis from G Valley. Go to www.thesportsdaily.com/Pelicans-I-View.
I'm a Saints and Pelicans fan, so the only podcast I can get my fix is The Sports Coma with Big Q. The guy's intense, funny, and they always keep it real.
Check out The Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
What's up, sports world? This Big Q from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Talking to you about the website, theposhlifestyle.com. That's right, theposhlifestyle.com. A great website where you can get great products at great prices. They sell organic herbs, vitamins, supplements, water filters for your home, EMF and cell phone radiation protection, healing magnetics and healing crystals, personal protection devices like cell phones, stun guns, and mace sprays, organic deodorants, shampoos, soaps, toothpaste, and more. They also sell 10A grade Brazilian hair. 10A music is available now. All kind of the latest downloadable mixtapes. So what are you waiting for? Head on over to theposhlifestyle.com. That's the Posh Lifestyle, life spelled with a Y, LYFE style.com. Put in the Sports Coma for the 10% discount on your purchase. It's a win-win. So get your mind and body right with the Posh Lifestyle.
Forget ESPN or Fox. Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
You're listening to the Pelicans postgame report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
Welcome back to the Pelican postgame report on the PRO Media Network. We talking Pelicans here. We talking about rained out Pelicans. But fortunately, guess what? Pelicans can fly in the rain. As a matter of fact, I seen one do it. And I think this team is made after a brown pelican, which is one of the most aggressive of the species. Anyway, I'm not gonna talk bird pelican or bird science with you. Anyway, let's get back to the meat and potatoes of the discussion. We was talking about the rained-in roof situation. Dealing with, could that be a ominous warning for the Pelicans franchise as they're reeling after losing DeMarcus Cousins to overplaying him? That's simply what it is. They just overplayed him to death thanks to you, L. Gentry. The desperate L. Gentry and the desperate Dale Demps overplayed the man. Pushed him beyond his limits, and he's gone for the season. Hopefully we don't do the same thing to Anthony Davis. Then a trade comes where we trade out Amir Osik and a first-round draft pick, which is proof positive that Dale Davis screwed up again. If any time you have to move a player with a horrible, ugly, ridiculous contract like that, when we were saying at the time it was a bad idea to give him that kind of money and to lock him in for that amount of time, that was totally stupid. But he does things like that, like when they told him, his higher-ups told him about the Eric Gordon situation. Don't re-sign somebody that don't want to be here. But he did it anyway. match with Phoenix, and then we had to put up with that for 3 years. Anyway, what I'm saying is, in the long run, this team is a microcosm of the thoughts of the administrator, which, word on the street, the Pelicans are a laugh stock. That's why a lot of people don't want to come down here. Even though the city of New Orleans is a town with all kind of great food, it's a vacation time, rich in culture and heritage, we should be up there in those top echelon of cities that can draw people here, like a Miami do, or maybe perhaps a Los Angeles, because we have a unique culture, not just a beautiful landscape like those other places have, but we have a unique culture, a rich food and heritage, man. Come on. Who would not want to play for New Orleans? Well, a lot of people feel that way. So a lot of guys don't come to New Orleans because it's a clown team, a clown franchise ran by people who don't know what the hell they're doing. And hopefully we basically sold our future based on the present, because we allowed a desperate general manager to move future assets to get rid of bad contracts whom he himself created. So what's next? What's next? If this don't work, then they're out of here, right? The next general manager comes in. Guess what? He's not going to have anything in his arsenal to clean up a lot of these crappy, trashy contracts. And of course, we won't get into the meat. I'm going to just move past it. But let me just put this on y'all minds, Pelicans fans, or Pelican family, is that the fact that now that you've committed $12.5 million to nikola-mirotic, you also have another Pelican who is currently sitting in the injured list who makes almost $12 million a year. Will you play two guys? One off the bench and one that'll be starting $12 million? I don't think so. So look for them to get rid of Solomon Hill real soon as well. So that's a little strafe when he came in. It's kind of funny because when Mirotic was in Chicago, he wore 44. When he came to the Pelicans, guess who wore 44? Solomon Hill. Solomon Hill was a bad matchup from the get-go. He can't shoot. He's decent defensively, and now he's injured. He's shipped with $12 million a season too. Now you got another $12 million guy. Then you look at trying to side DeMarcus Cousins back. It's not looking good for the home team. The next few acquisitions will prove to you how well this team wants to win. They must find a center that can start, that can help Anthony Davis move back to his natural position so it could save his body from the abuse that he would take against matching up people like Stephen Hunter or Joel Embiid and Miles Turner and the rest of these big brutes. You know, you can't do that to him. Anyway, let's move past that. We already talked about the Dante Cunningham trade, which I'm ecstatic about. We don't know what Rashad Vaughn's going to give us. We don't even know if he's going to stay on the team, if he won't waive him and just keep the money that he would make. But if they do keep Vaughn to the team, Vaughn to me is a big guard, which I've said before, we were guard heavy, and the guards that we had were little guards. You know, you had Jameer Nelson, you had Tony Allen, you had Ian Clark, you have Etwine Moore. Those are four guards. Well, a couple of those guys not on half those guys not on the team anyway, but most of those guys sit under 6'4". When they sign Liggins, he's 6'6". You get this Rashad Vaughn kid. He's 6'6". He can shoot the three and he's very athletic. I like that direction if they can keep him. Big guards that can play two positions, either the one or the two, and even guard the one. I mean, the two or the three, and even guard the one if you need them. Now you're thinking. But the issue is now we got to find a center to alleviate Anthony Davis, and L. Gentry has to dig into his bench. He has to. No doubt about it. He has to trust that bench more, or he's going to be looking for another job. No doubt about it. You can't play these like you did before, 8-player rotations and expect to win. It won't happen. Anyway, Mike James situation. Mike James wants to be released. Now, this was just a new story that was posted recently. It's on the Sports Coma's Facebook and the Sports Coma Twitter pages. Like I said, for all people interested, go out there and find and join the Sports Coma's Facebook and Twitter page. We give you all of the latest Pelicans and Saints and Louisiana sports, LSU Tigers news. You don't have to go anywhere but one source and we'll bring it to you. The Sports Coma, go there and sign up for it. That's a little cheap plug. But anyway, Mike James wants to be released so he can go overseas and play in the EuroLeague. Why would you leave the NBA to go to the EuroLeague and make less money? Well, obviously the fact that he didn't feel appreciated. Guess why? Because L. Gentry does not play him. L. Gentry played the damn man. He can bring something that you don't have on your team. He's a guy that could push the ball And I have to give credit to Dale Demps on that front. Dale Demps has brung in Liggins. Finally, Gentry played him. After I don't know if Demps went to his office and said, "Hey, play this fucking man because his contract is about to play or be up. Or play Mike James or play Omer Okafor, play Sheik Diallo." I don't know if he does that or not, but he needs to go in there and tell him, you need to play these guys that I'm putting on this team. You don't just sit him on the bench like you did Josh Smith and tell me that you couldn't find a spot for Josh Smith, even though Josh Smith could play 3 positions on your team, but you couldn't find a spot for him before after we signed him. It's just crazy. It shows like a communication breakdown of some sort between the general manager and the coach, it appears to me. I didn't like the hire anyway. But anyway, let's move on to some of the NBA trade news. As you, of course, a couple of people realized that over the yesterday, the trade deadline ended at 3:00 Eastern time. And we had a bunch of interesting trades that occurred within that time frame that helped. We knew about homeboy Elfrid Payton being sent to Phoenix for a second round pick a 2018 second round pick. Boy, that was nothing for him to get moved. We also knew about Sheldon Mack being traded back to the Hawks from the Wizards. He basically was balling there. Tyreke Evans didn't go anywhere. Neither did Kenneth Faried. But some of these guys might be poised to be a part of the buyout market, so look out for that. There's going to be a lot of good veterans on the buyout market. Hopefully the Pelicans can find one. Of course, we know about a 3-team trade between the Nuggets, the Knicks, and the Mavericks. That sent Delvin Harris to Denver, Emmanuel Muide, who was a part-time Pelican killer, to New York, and Doug McDermott, the shooter, to Dallas. That was an interesting trade. Cavaliers sent Dwayne Wade back to the Heat where he could retire. That's a good move that'll get him back to Miami. He should never left. Cleveland cleared out half its team. They sent Rodney Hood. They were able to acquire Rodney Hood from Utah, George Hill from Sacramento, and they shipped out as a part of the deal. Sacramento got Joe Johnson, who's a buyout candidate, and Iman Shumpert from the Cavs, and a second-round pick, while Utah got Jay Crowder and Derrick Rose. That is 2 excellent pickups. I really like Jay Crowder, his defense and his shooting. And Derrick Rose, you never know what you're going to get with him, but that's interesting. Then on the other Cleveland deal, they were able to trade Isaiah Thomas, well, you knew that was coming, and Shannon Fry, and their own, not the New Jersey first-rounder, but the Cleveland 2018 pick to the Lakers for Jordan Clarkson and Larry Nance Jr. Now, that was good because it gives them a guard that can guard all 3 positions, 1, 2, and 3, and Larry Nance, who's a high-flyer, who, oddly enough, he goes to the team his father was an all-star on with Larry Nance, who was played on his father's team, man. That's pretty cool. I don't care how you look at it. Other minor trades: Luke Babbitt, the former Pelican, was shipped to Miami for Okaro White, who's probably going to get released. James Ennis, who was a former Pelican, got shipped to Detroit for Bryce Johnson, who's a big that they're looking to use. And then, of course, we know about the Jameer Nelson, who got shipped to Chicago, part of the Mirotic deal. He had shipped again, but this time to Detroit for Willis Reed, the center there. So much love to Jameer Nelson, who was here for some time. And then, of course, you got possible buyout candidates on the free agent wire: Joakim Noah, Tyreke Evans, and guys like that. That's still out there. L. Jefferson, perhaps Julius Randle. We don't possibly know. But also another trade that was done was Willie Hearn Gomez sent to from the Knicks, that was sent to the Hornets for 2 second-round picks and Johnny O'Brien, the former LSU man. So that's some of the trades, and of course the Dante Cunningham trade that was thrown in there as well. So that's some of the trades that happened from the NBA yesterday. Interesting trades. Of course, the biggest one of them all is the Cleveland trade. How would the Cleveland Cavaliers look with a whole new team? And I'm going to tell you something a hell of a lot better. George Hill is an excellent point guard. He'll make him look good. Rodney Hood, Pelicans fans know who Rodney Hood is. He just killed them for 30 points prior to the rain game. So they were getting an interesting player, a very good player in Rodney Hood and a very good player in George Hill. Those guys are all business. And then you pair him up there with Larry Nance Jr. and put him in there with Tristan Thompson. And this team can get back to playing ball. And they're a better team. And they still got J.R. Smith. They still have a few other little pieces around there of the remaining team to keep a resemblance. So it's obviously clear that Cleveland is trying to do something here. Wish we had a general manager that could wheel and deal, but we have no tradable assets, and we're limited on cash. And that's a sign of what's to come. But anyway, that's some of the news that happened from the NBA trade deadline. Let's move into the previewing of the upcoming game against the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, the Pelicans and the Sixers, you take a look at what the Sixers were bringing into this game. Of course, the last 5 games they played the matchup, Pelicans are 3-2 and 7-3 in the last 10 games against Philly. So they played pretty well against Philly. That's because Philly been trash for a very long time. And recently, after some of their draftable parts were able to play, started to actually try to resemble or look like a quality team. And it's been a while since Allen Iverson was there. Maybe Iguodala, his years there as well, when they were, middling, I guess to call them. But this game is interesting because the Pelicans 28-25, 1 of 4 the last 5 contests, 14-13. And I'm sorry, but this game, I don't know how I got it confused. This game is in Philadelphia. I apologize. I kept saying this smooth. I don't know if I said that. Well, it's in Philadelphia anyway. And they have the Sixers as a 5-point favorite. Of course, the Pelicans coming into this game averaging 111 points a game while giving up 111 points a game, shooting 48.5% from the field, rebounding at 43 rebounds a game, 26 assists per game, 5 blocks a game, almost 8 steals a game, and they're currently on a 2-game losing streak, 5-5 the last 10. Philly averaging 107 a game, giving up 106 a game, shooting 46.5 from the field, 47 rebounds per game, 25 assists per game, 5 blocks per game, 8 steals per game, and they won 1 against you. They won 1, and they're 5-5 in the last few games. They beat Washington 115-102 without Wall. Of course, in this game, we're looking at it. They'll have Joel Embiid. They'll have Ben Simmons ready to match up against this team. Philly coming into this game, they're 26-25, 14-10 at home. The Pelicans really need this win. They really need to win this game to keep pace because they can't keep falling through the floor. They already fell all the way down to the 8th seed in the Western Conference. Philly, speaking of standings, the Pelicans beat them earlier this year, 131-124, an eventful game. Pelicans looking to close the deal and win the season series. They haven't won any season series yet. This will be the first that they can do. And they're sitting at 28-25 in the center of the Southwest Division. They are just below San Antonio, that's 35-21, and Houston, who's 40-13, winners of 6 in a row. Philly, they're in the Atlantic. Boston is the top team, one of the best in the business, followed by Toronto, who's one of the best in the business, who's currently on a 4-game winning streak. And then you have the Sixers sitting up there at 26-25 in the central part of the Atlantic. And right below them is a miserable New York team that's falling through the floor, and also Brooklyn as well. So looking, and with all that said at the team, let's look at some of the interesting giblets or facts behind the game. Philadelphia's win over New Orleans on December the 8th, 2016, snapped a 23-game losing streak on the road. The last road win for the 76ers was on the January the 20th, 2016 at Orlando. In the first meeting of the season, Drew Holiday scored game-high 34 points for New Orleans to go with his 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. He played really well. Rajon Rondo added 13 points and dished out 18 of New Orleans' 31 assists. Anthony Davis added 23 points, 9 rebounds on the day. J.J. Redick scored a team-high 28 points for the Sixers. Simmons scored 27, 5, and 10. And in the first meeting of the season, Philadelphia out-rebounded New Orleans 47-33, including a 22-5 on the offensive end, outscoring the Pelicans 20-7 on second chance points. In 2 games against New Orleans last season, Joel Embiid averaged 12.5 points, 6.5 rebounds, 2 steals, 2.5 blocks. Embiid was a late scratch from their first meeting of the season. That's right, he didn't play. He was it was a game time decision. He didn't play. Be interesting to see what it looks like this time. In 2 games earlier this season as a member of the Bulls, nikola-mirotic averaged 18.5 points, 8 rebounds, and 1 assist as a member of the Bulls against this team. So hopefully he can bring that here, as Al Gentry is 13-17 all time against the Sixers. Brett Brown, who's their coach, is 3-6 all time against New Orleans. Of course, Al Gentry has a losing record against damn near everybody. As he said so himself, he was fired by damn near everybody. They only get fired for doing good. But outside of that, a lot of connections tied to these two teams in this Pelicans-Sixers connection. Jrue Holiday was acquired from the Sixers in 2013 via trade rights of Newell and Norrell, and he spent his first 4 seasons with the Sixers from 2009 to 2013 and was selected as All-Star in that last season with the franchise. Of course, rookie Ben Simmons played his long season in college basketball in Louisiana. Sheik Diallo and Sixers Joel Embiid are both products of the University of Kansas and are both natives of Africa. Pelicans head coach Al Gentry served as the Clippers Associates head coach during 2013-2014 when current 76ers J.J. Redick was on the team. Solomon Hill and McConnell were both members of Arizona basketball program. Gerald Bayless, who's one of their guards, was also a Pelican for a short period of time. And then, of course, you had Emeka Okafor, who was on their roster for a little bit. Anyway, that'll do it for the Pelican post-game report. And, well, hold on. Let me give my prediction in this game. I will say that the Pelicans, no rain will spoil the day in Philadelphia. It will be clear and shiny. Well, it won't be clear and shiny. It'll be at nighttime, but we guarantee no rain's going to come in there. I'm going to give the win to the Pelicans. I'm going to have to say that the Pelicans have to win this game. They have to. They can't keep falling through the floor. They'll come through in a major way and win this game. So there it is. Thank you for joining us on the Pelican Post Game Report today. I'm Big Q. If you want to support the show and you like the show, go to our Patreon page, www.patreon.com/the PRO Media Network, and donate. Also join our social media families at Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr. It's a bunch of them. Join us, please. For myself, thank you for joining the Pelican Post Game Report. Peace.
Forget ESPN or Fox. Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
What's up, world? This is DC from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Have you ever been sitting in front of your computer screen, or in traffic, tired, lacking energy, feeling drained? Did you know there are electromagnetic fields or EMF waves all around you that cause this disease? Get it? Dis-ease? Luckily here at Posh Lifestyle, you can get your EMF protection. They have pendants, the shell-dyed bricks, cubes, and pyramids. Check out the PoshLifestyle.com. That's life spelled with a Y. PoshLifestyle.com for all your health needs. So get your mind and body right with a Posh Lifestyle.
Clear, clean, great-tasting filtered water. We're all thirsty for it. But in the U.S. alone, an estimated 2.5 million plastic bottles are added to the environment each year in search of the perfect drink of water. There has to be a better solution, and there is. Crystal Quest, a leader in the manufacturing of water filtration technology, has been providing clean, drinkable water for 20 years. With a deep commitment to providing the highest quality products and excellent customer service, Crystal Quest has been recognized by such leaders as Consumers Digest, Dr. Oz, and Colin Ingram's The Water Drinking Book. Providing cost-effective, reliable water filtration systems for residential, commercial, and industrial customers worldwide, offering our customers the cleanest and most environmental-friendly drinking water at a rating of high purity. With Crystal Quest's water filtration technology, you can rest assured that your water will be crystal clear. Contact our network of authorized distributors and join our thousands of satisfied customers.
Just log into theposhlifestyle.com. Once again, that is theposhlifestyle.com.
You're listening to the Pelicans postgame report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
In today's world, children are bombarded with negativity on television, online, and at school. Our kids need to have a positive outlook on life and the world around them. I want to share with you a valuable resource you can use to bring positivity into your child's life. It's the new book, 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad, G.J. Barabino. This is a simple guide loaded with wonderful and inspirational affirmations designed to uplift young people's spirits. This positive and powerful children affirmational is chock full and loaded with wonderful inspirational sayings that will lift your child's self-image to whole new levels through the awesome power of spoken word. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad G.J. Barabino. Available on Amazon. Order a copy for yourself, your child's teachers, or anyone you know with children. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image. Order your copy today.